What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. It's time for another freeform discussion type video, just me kind of thinking out loud, and a sequel video of sorts. I made one of these last fall called Problems I Have with Fall Out Boy, and of course this video is called Problems I Have with Panic at the Disco, but I want you to know that at heart, I know I'm not attacking any of the members. I'm not attacking Brendan Urie, who is really the sole remaining member at this point, and I'm not attacking past members of this band. These are just some issues that I have seen flare up over the course of the years, and especially since really 2009, whenever Ryan Ross and John Walker left the band. Now, at that time, Dallin Weeks was promoted to a touring member. He became a touring member of this band, and he did so until 2013, and he was finally promoted full-time on with this band. And that's really the first issue that I'm having here, because it seemed like Dallin, and it does still seem that way, that he brings a lot of charisma to the table. He's always been very outgoing, I've heard at shows. I've never met the dude personally, but I've heard that he's a very nice guy. He seems to work hard and work his ass off for the band, and for some reason he confirmed on his Twitter at the end of 2015, I think it was around October actually, that he had been demoted and was no longer contributing creatively to the band. And that leaves Brendan Urie as the sole remaining member of Panic at the Disco, which is problem number 2, really. This is a solo project. I don't really see using the name Panic at the Disco as anything other than, I hate to say it, but a cash grab. People know the name, and people are gonna flock to the name. So if Brendan Urie went out under his own moniker as Brendan Urie and the album Death of a Bachelor, would it have done as well? Maybe not. And I feel like that's just a little bit of fear holding Urie back from doing that. And honestly, if it continues like this and albums keep coming out under the Panic at the Disco name, that's an issue for me, because it's not really a band thing. There were 4 people, or even, was it 4 or 5? 4 or 5 different people that formed Panic at the Disco, and nobody's left other than Brendan Urie. And that just, I don't know why, but that kind of bothers me that he continues under that name. And also, like I said, Dallin Weeks, why can't he play bass for this band still and be a full-time member? Maybe he's not writing lyrics or anything like that. I mean, some bassists do, Pete Wentz obviously being one of the ones that comes to mind whenever you think about the bassist writing the lyrics, or maybe the one from Muse. But there's so many other bands, you know, that don't have a bassist that really contributes that much musically. And I feel like that's kind of maybe Brendan Urie shutting him out creatively and saying, you know what, I actually want to do all this. It's like, I have to have everything done my way, and you're just kind of a speed bump in the way. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I don't really see a good reason for him being knocked down and demoted. Now, also at the time of 2009, whenever Ryan Ross, the main one that we're going to notice, left the band, he contributed vocals, obviously wrote a lot of the lyrics, a ton of the lyrics on A Favor You Can't Sweat Out, and of course 2008's Pretty Odd. Both amazing records in their own regards, but 2 totally different ones. And I want you guys to know, of course, that I am at heart a big fan of this group, and I had always rooted for them. And it just kind of sucked whenever I found out back in 2009. I was into them, of course, at the time, and I found out that they had lost so many members. But then they came out with the track New Perspective from that movie Jennifer's Body, and I was like, okay, they're still killing it. You know, Urie and Spencer Smith, still sounding good. But whenever Ross left the band, something changed in this band's live show. You might notice, based on the screen caps here, we have one from early 2009, whenever Ross was still with the band, and you've got like 7 different songs from Pretty Odd being played live, and then fast forward it a few months, and they're no longer there in the band. Urie wipes the slate almost completely clean and leaves 1 or 2 songs in there, actually 2 at the time, and now you will only find 1 trace of Pretty Odd in this band's set list, ever. Always the same song too at this point. It was, back in the day, it was Things Have Changed, That Green Gentleman, and 9 in the Afternoon. Now it's just 9 in the Afternoon. And it's kind of, to me, a slap to the face, because it seems like Urie's trying to dismiss that part of their career for some reason. I never hear him talk about that album. You hear him mention Vices and Virtues and Fever, obviously. But I'm really curious. I mean, they hyped up the 10th anniversary of A Fever You Can't Sweat Out so much. If Panic's still a thing in 2018, are they going to be hyping out Pretty Odd? Or are they going to be pretending like it didn't happen? That was just something that kind of irked me about that. And if I went to see them live again, which I might this summer with Weezer, it's just going to be kind of disheartening because I'm going to be hoping for a little bit more. Yeah, maybe they don't fit in as well or anything like that, but it's just kind of suspicious that they got removed so quickly. It was almost like such a bitter breakup. It's like, oh, I don't want anything to do with my ex, but I'm going to play these two songs and maybe now just this one because they were both minor hits in the US and even somewhat worldwide. Now, speaking of worldwide success and promotion and that sort of thing, I've noticed another problem, and it's not necessarily directly Panic's fault, but at the same time, it is because you hired them. I found out about Crush Management, the roster and the label, not really a label, a management group, obviously, that is responsible for the social media marketing and really just the marketing in general of pretty much all the Fueled by Ramen artists and the DCD2, which is Pete Wentz's label that is connected to Fueled by Ramen. And you're going to notice artists like New Politics, Lolo, Travie McCoy, obviously Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy, and the new summer tour mates for Panic at the Disco, Weezer, being one of the recent additions to the roster. And if you'll notice something on Twitter, you'll sit back and you'll be like, you know what? This band is tweeting so much. There's so many links just flying at me, hitting me in the face about buy tickets to the tour, add this to your Spotify playlist, share it with your friends, go check out the homies' new song. And they talk like they're actually the band themselves. But no, it's Crush Management, and they fucking suck. Who wants to be hit in the face like 20 times a day? Like Panic at the Disco, the new album, every time a single came out, or every time, or right around the time of the album's release, Death of a Bachelor, we're getting like 25 tweets a day talking about like, go pre-order it, or go pick it up. Oh, you haven't picked it up yet? Go do it, go buy it on Amazon, go buy it on iTunes, oh, stream it on Spotify. And half of the comments that I see on either Facebook or especially on Twitter, whenever, people are replying to the tweet, they're saying, we know, we get it, I've already done that, stop saying it, stop tweeting this. And it's just like, Jesus Christ, it's tacky. It's tacky as hell. And no, it's not the band directly doing it, but at the same time, you hired them. And I don't think that it's fair to the fans to just make them almost feel guilty for not buying something or for not going to check out Lolo's new song just because, hey, if you love Panic at the Disco, you'll do this. It's like they're trying to guilt trip fans into going and checking out other people on their roster just because you manage them too and you want more of a blowback from the profits that they see rolling in from Spotify streams, iTunes sales, physical sales, and that sort of thing. So Crush Management, big middle finger to you, and I wish that some of these artists would just jump off of that, because if all marketing switched to their way of marketing, I mean, my newsfeed would be no genuine tweets at all. I don't feel like I'd be, Twitter I think is something that's cool because a lot of times that's how an artist or a band has a conversation and gets information relayed to their fans, but not in a way that's just like beating you over the head with it. So I hope that some of these bands will wise up, or else the management group will learn how to tone it back. But I'm going to give you a few tips on how to know if somebody is managed by Crush Management. Now, you're going to see a bunch of tweets in a row roll out whenever a new single drops or an album announcement, like Weezer just the other day. They rolled out everything, and you're probably seeing a barrage of tweets if you follow them. And it's really just a list of things like album announcement, new tour dates, info about the record again. Just a reminder, it'll be up by keywords. If you're not seeing it now, it'll be up by midnight. Don't panic, don't worry, or something like that. And then some emojis. That's how I usually know that it's them. And I was very curious, and I was like, damn, is this Fueled by Ramen? But then I was like, Weezer isn't signed to Fueled by Ramen. And then I looked into it a little bit more, found out about Crush Management. So these were just a few issues that I've seen over the years. The whole Brendan Urie needing to go solo thing, maybe the whole Panic at the Disco moniker being ready to be retired, Dallin Weeks being demoted, the whole Ryan Ross leaving, and then all of the songs from Pretty Odd are almost stripped away almost instantly, basically, which was, like I said, kind of a slap to the face. And then the whole Crush Management thing, I don't know. Obviously, music is the most important thing, and the quality of the music. I wasn't that into Death of a Bachelor, but at the same time, I mean, there was some good stuff on there. I mean, I just kind of felt like tracks like Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time. Okay, you throw in a really weird and old sample. Like, that's one final thing I did want to bring up, and I almost forgot about it. Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time has that sample from Rock Lobster, the B-52's track, and it's the bass line from it. And it's just like a really, really weird thing that you wouldn't expect. And I feel like that's almost trying to copy Fall Out Boy, their label mates, who they have been in the shadows of for a while now. I mean, Miss Jackson, coming right after my songs Know What You Did in the Dark, sounding kind of similar, but I still liked Miss Jackson. I liked a lot of aspects about the track, but with Don't Threaten Me with a Good Time, it felt like they were throwing in a weird sample just because, hey, Fall Out Boy sampled the Munsters theme song from the 1960s, and that became a hit, so hey, who knows what can happen if we use a weird sample. I don't know. These are just my thoughts, guys. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. I'm curious to know. I'm sure a lot of people just aren't bothered by it, or else, you know, don't follow them on social media and aren't aware of some of these things. But anyways, I'm curious to know what you think about Panic in general these days. It was all just my opinion. Like I said, don't take it as a personal attack on the band. I am a fan at heart. Hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys very soon, right here on Beyond ARTV.